Hello, my name is Eoghan Hayden and I'm the Chief Clinical Engineer at the National Maternity Hospital in Dublin and the current chairperson of the Biomedical and Clinical Engineering Association of Ireland, the BEAI. And I would like to present to you today on the National Neonatal Transport Programme of Ireland. The National Maternity Hospital Clinical Engineering Department has supported the NNTP since it was first established in 1998. Department staff has obviously changed over the years, but the current members of Fasan Palau, Myra Gallagher and myself now provide the clinical engineering support to the programme. Ms. Anne Bowden is the programme coordinator and Dr. Jan Franta is the medical director. In addition to this, each transport team comprises of experienced staff with specialist skills, including a neonatal medical registrar, a transport nurse, an EMT during road transports, and air crew during air transports. Together with staff from the National Ambulance Service and the Irish Air Corps, there is a team available for transports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So what is the NNTP? Well, it is a retrieval service for the stabilisation and transportation of premature and critically ill neonates, both within Ireland and abroad. The programme transfers up to 600 patients per annum. The National Maternity Hospital Clinical Engineering Department supports the NNTP in several ways. We provide technical support to the programme with breakdowns, repairs and any health technology assessments, and assist in the design and configuration of the transport systems and dedicated ambulance. A redesign can be driven by several factors, such as the introduction of specialised treatments, advances in technology, implementation of best practice, or regulation changes. The goal of this project was to accommodate patients being transported in a transverse position across the bulkhead of the ambulance, rather than in a longitudinal position, which is in the direction of travel, as new evidence suggests that it can reduce neurological impacts on neonatal patients. In order to do this, we needed to reduce the overall length of the current transport trolley while maintaining all existing equipment. The second part of the project was assisting with the design and introduction of a new dedicated ambulance for neonatal transfers. At the moment, all national transfers are conducted in an intermediate care vehicle, or an ICV, which is a standard ambulance in the National Ambulance Service fleet, which transfers all patient demographics. In order for neonates to be transported in a transverse position, it meant that the internal layout and floor locking mechanism inside an ICV would not be sufficient for our needs, hence the need to introduce a new dedicated ambulance for the programme. There is one transport team based in each of the 3 Dublin maternity hospitals. As they share a 1 in 3 rotation, there can be infrequent use of equipment by some staff. So where available, the new transport system attempts to address this infrequent use by aligning the transport equipment with what is used in-house to increase commonality. Each of the 3 Dublin maternity hospitals has an identical transport system, which adds to the fluidity of the programme. The air systems equipment is as similar as possible to the ground system, but the housing is different to comply with air regulations. This essentially means that the programme is self-sustaining in supporting equipment during downtime for service and repair. The current iteration of trolley includes servo-controlled nitric oxide, a variable flow ventilator and CPAP, active cooling and humidification, suction, blended gas, several infusion devices, patient monitoring, and of course, an infant incubator. Other considerations to address when designing this transport system were the trolley locking mechanism and compatibility with the ambulance recipient lock, cylinder holders and positions, gas switchover valves for switching between cylinder and pipeline supplies, power distribution, battery backup, storage, and cable management. After a tendering process, we engaged with Parade in the UK, who fabricated the above trolley and completed the finite element analysis. We were able to achieve our goal of reducing the length whilst maintaining all essential equipment and still adhering to safety and legislative protocols for road transport. The second part of the project was the introduction of a dedicated ambulance that could transport our patients in a transverse position. An added complication was that the configuration also had to be suitable for the transportation of twins simultaneously, which accounts for about 3% of the NNTP's annual transfers. The optimum orientation for both incubators would be in a transverse position, but this was not possible to achieve due to the floor lock position, seat positions, and visibility of staff to patients. Some other considerations we made when designing the ambulance included the position of the incubator, the position of seats, which must be configured so that there is ease of access to and visibility of the patients. The external lift had to be sufficient to accommodate greater than 165 kilograms in weight. And in addition to the hydraulic operating mechanism, the lift must be operationally manually in case of emergency or hydraulic failure, and had to include side safety rails to prevent the incubator from overshooting the ramp. The chassis needed to be fitted with air suspension to reduce the occurrence of travel sickness in staff. And in addition to the battery backup on the equipment itself, the ambulance also included two alternative independent power sources, a 220 volt AC supply from the ambulance inverter and a 12 volt DC supply. With regards to the onboard medical gas supply, each incubator has access to two oxygen outlets supplied by two ZX size cylinders, which is sufficient for 4-hour twin transfers on 100% O2 flow of 10 litres a minute. And we also include an automatic changeover valve, content indicator visible to staff, and positioning of cylinders within the vehicle for even weight distribution. Also, extra soundproofing installation was installed on the ambulance walls for noise reduction. At the time of this presentation, the ambulance is currently undertaking road testing and will hopefully be roadworthy in the very near future. Thank you all very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the conference.